Hi, greetings from sunny Central Florida. Let's get into crafting. This video is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY Challenge open playlist. It happens every month on the 5th at 5 Eastern. This month's theme is Fruity Tiered Tray Decor, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this later on in the video. I don't have a tier tray yet, so that's going to be project number 1. Okay, so we can't have a fruity tier tray without a tray. So what am I going to make with flip-flops and a pizza pan? You have to keep watching. Right now I'm showing you some of the other materials that I'm thinking of using on this fruity tier tray. I got these houses, a pretty yellow bottle, some lemon fabric, shelf paper, yellow twine or baker's twine, pie tin, what else? Oh, some paper to make templates. I guess you call this a dowel. I believe it was $1 at Habitat for Humanity Restore. Some wooden planks from Dollar Tree. So pretty frame here, but I decided not to use it. I made an orange frame picture with it, but I didn't like how it looked, so I chucked it. So I have cork in case I want to level out the feet on the tray. And the pie tin is going to be the second shelf on the tray. So, you know, you got to clean these things up so the glue sticks and everything sticks that needs to stick. So I believe I'm using paper towel and rubbing alcohol. Then I've gone ahead and made my template. Now here I am trying to get a center mark. So that paint marker didn't work. Let's try the orange one. That one didn't work. Nope. Let's try, what, a pencil? Does that show up? A little tiny bit, but very faint. I go ahead and do a line, and I'm going to check and see if it's actually dark enough that I can use it. It seems to be, because I'm going to go ahead and mark a line here. No, I guess I don't like it. Okay, then I tried the orange pencil crayon, and that didn't work. Pink paint marker, I couldn't get it started. So I gave up on marking it and just used some tape. And I measured in 2 inches and put down a piece of tape. So I heard that's a safe way to drill into metal, so that's what we're doing. I wear reading glasses, but I suggest safety glasses when you're drilling with metal like that. So I went ahead and drilled those 4 holes, and now I'm going to do a pilot hole in each of the legs that I believe I cut them down to 2 inches. So each hole is going to get each leg is going to get a pilot hole as close to the middle as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. I keep a little box here of odds and ends, and I'm looking for some screws that will fit the holes that I've already drilled. And I actually find like a little unopened bag that looks like it's going to work. So I open it up and I check, and sure enough, perfect match. So get all that tape off. This was kind of awkward. I'm not going to show a whole lot of it. You could probably use someone to hold the pizza pan for you. Basically what you do is you hold the leg underneath and then you drill into it. I found what worked is to hold the pizza pan on its side, but you'll find a way that works for you. So the gluing process here, I don't show it, but I flip the vase over, and then for the bottom I just match up the templates. So I just use E6000 because I tried it with the hot glue in E6000, it just wasn't working. So I go ahead and find as close to the middle as possible, and then I draw a circle around the vase and then just E6000, and I just set it right on top of it. So I will show you how I do get the top shelf on there. A bead of E6000 on either side, and then a bead of hot glue down the middle. It has to set for a few hours, and then I'll go ahead and spray paint it and show you what it looks like later on in the video. It came close on this one. A total of $4.50 to make the tier tray. Okay, so here's some supplies that I'm thinking about using in this project. I have this pretty scarf that I got at Dollar Tree. I also got this baker's twine there, or yellow twine. Got my baby wipes. I got these die cuts, just some words. It looks like flowers and leaves. There's some stickers there as well. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to use just yet. I have this pretty round jar that I got from Davidson's, which is like a candy place. You can also get jams and marmalades there. Still has the price tag on it. And then I'm going to put some of this old floral foam in the bottom. It's going to be just enough. An old sponge that I used to apply paint with, as well as this tiny little Dollar Tree dabber. And I have other foam brushes, but this is all about making the orange look like a dimpled, you know, the dimples in the orange skin. There's a lot of texture there, so that's why we're using the two sponges. This is Magicfly acrylic paint. I'll list the colors in my description box. I used 2 different oranges, brown, green, and I forget what others, but they'll be in the description box. So I couldn't find my other dish where you can see the colors better, but this is basically just some orange and some water. I never really use paint straight out of the bottle. I always have to add water for some reason. I'm just gonna stir it up, and it looks like it'll cover okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead, let the dabbing begin. So it looks like it covers pretty easy there, but every time I looked, it seemed like there was a spot where I could see the glass. So we just kept dabbing and drying, dabbing and drying. I used the other sponge there to put just little dots and little lines of brown, just like you would find on a real orange. And I should know because I have an orange grove at the end of my street. So I'm just going to go back and forth here. Dab the paint on, dry the paint, dab the paint on, dry the paint. And I do it quite a few times, so I'm building up the layers. And of course I don't know what I would do without this dryer. More dabbing. I think I'm almost done here. Oh, okay, this is when I go in with the light orange paint and decide we need a little variation in the color. So I'm going to get that in there as well, and then I'll dry that. It's a pretty easy project, I must say. When I'm happy with the color, I'm going to do the gloss finish that I use instead of Mod Podge. And now we can play with it. Okay, so I have some floral foam and some Spanish moss. And that's sort of a fun fact. I have Spanish moss in my trees outside, so I see Spanish moss outside every day. And here I am using it in my crafting. This is kind of a neat thing about living in Florida. So I go ahead and put some hot glue on the bottom of that floral foam, and then I just push it in and fill the rest of the bottle with the Spanish moss. I really was going to use just a leaf stem, like a floral stem, but just with leaves. But when I saw those die cuts, I was like, I have to do a die cut leaf. I just think it's gonna elevate the project that much more. So I settle on this pretty one, and it actually reminds me of the shape of the orange leaves. So I choose just the dark green. I'm just gonna paint the green. I don't bother with the brown on this one, I don't think. Oh, I guess I do. Oh, okay. So I want it a little bit darker. We get a little bit of water in there, mix it up. I'm actually going to use a real paintbrush on this one. I do both sides, even though I'm only going to show one side. You just never know. Someone might pick it up, or I don't know. It's just nice to have a finished project. This actually dries pretty fast too. So looking good. Y'all, I cannot find my jute twine. I got a thing of jute twine from Dollar Tree and I've used it like once or twice. And that would be perfect for this project, but since I can't find it, I'm using the yellow, which isn't perfect, but it's gonna do on this one. I fold the string in half and then I pull that loop through one of the holes in the leaf, and then I pull the ends through the loop, and that catches on it. It's kind of like a lark's head knot, if you know macrame. And then I just wrap it around, tie a little knot, hot glue it, and then I grab this pretty scarf, and it's nice and poofy, and it's gonna fill out the top of that jar really nice, and you're not gonna be able to see the lines where you screw on the lids. And I just tie just a knot in the back, and then I'm going to take a little skewer and push those ends in, and you really can't even tell that there was a knot there. It's just the fabric of the scarf is very generous as far as this goes. Here's the flowers that I picked out. I'll leave the name of the flowers in the description box because I can't remember offhand. But they're really pretty, orange and yellow, so I thought they would be perfect for this. And I'm just gonna play with the stems until I like how it looks. I'm not even sure how many I'm gonna use or how full I want it, but it's looking good already. Just using my wire cutters and filling it out. And there we have it, a better look at the final reveal. Okay, I'm making a home orange sign now using this Dollar Tree wood plank that came in a package of 6. I'm only using 1. Also using some of the Dollar Tree poster sticker letters and my magicfly acrylic paints. I'll put the colors down in my description box. I'm also going to use the Folk Art Adirondack paint. And this is a little hack I wanted to show you. It's an 8x10 piece of glass that I use as a palette when I'm off camera, and it sits in the corner of my desk, so it's out of the way of my work. So I just brought it into frame here just to show you guys how neat it is. I can tap the paint out, I can spray it with water, I can mix the colors. It's really easy, and if you just forget about it and you come back and it's dry, you just use a paint scraper to scrape it off. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I learned it from Elizabeth Art Studio Life, and I believe I found her on Facebook, and I took some painting classes. So I'm going to go ahead and use the orange acrylic paint to paint the wood plank, and then the Dollar Tree poster sticker letters. And I'm going to get my H, M, and E. put them on the parchment paper here until I can clean up. Once I have a nice clean work surface, I'm going to go ahead and very, very carefully place these letters down. This is sped up. I took my time making sure the lines were straight, there wasn't crooked, there wasn't creases, and I just took my time and patted them down, letter by letter, pat by pat. And the little white cup you see there, that's just to remind me of the space that the little orange slice picture is going to take up. So we're using an orange slice instead of the O. Finally going to get that E down there. And looking good. So we're going to do some dabbing. I have my thick Folk Art Adirondack paint. And I'm only going to brush the back, and I'm only going to dab the front. Now, I could have used Mod Podge to make sure these were on good, but I actually just warmed them up with my heat gun, hoping that would help the adhesive stick better. Let the dabbing begin. So I'm actually dabbing right on top of the letters at first, you know, just to make sure none of the paint actually gets pushed underneath the stickers. And then once I do that, I'm just going to fill in. I'm not going to use a brush at all. I'm going to dab the rest of the plank just like I dabbed over the letters. I want everything to be even. I want everything to look the same. I'm showing you real time here. There's a lot of dabs. Okay, so I waited quite a while for that to just to get tacky, not totally dry. I did use the heat gun there for a minute, and now we have the reveal of the HME letters. Those letters come out pretty good, and there really actually wasn't a lot of bleed through like I was worried about. There's a little tiny bit on the edges that I fixed with this little orange acrylic paint marker. It's not a great marker, so I'm not gonna say the name or where I got it from. It's just, it does for now. I used it to at least get an idea of how big the orange slice is going to be, and then I'm actually going to come in with some orange acrylic paint, and I'm going to copy that orange slice that's on the scarf there. So that's just to remind me of what an orange slice looks like. Basically the circle with the triangles, and I just wanted to remember to round the corners. So I thought if I had something to look at that I wouldn't mess it up. I kind of do. One of my little triangles is kind of small, but I fuss around with it. I go back with the white, and then I go back with the orange after that. Just fussy paint, I guess you could call it. And then I'm just touching up the white around the letters. I'm just trying to make everything cohesive, but I think it's okay that the orange slice is a little bit of a different color if you look, because I didn't add any brown or gray to that orange, so the orange slice is its own color, and I think that's okay. I'm okay with that. I realized as I was painting it that it wasn't as dark as the letters. It was a little bit brighter. Now I'm gathering up my little blocks there. They're like half the size of the Jenga blocks, and I'm just gonna use my AdTech hot glue gun and glue those on the back. I did a little mark there, so I'd remember to keep them in the center area. And this is just going to help the plank sit up by itself, so it doesn't need a stand or, you know, like a frame stand at the back of it. And there we have it. I thought it was done, but then I remembered I had to sand the edges. And what's cool is I did the orange underneath, so when I sand the edges, it brings out the orange underneath, and then I don't have to do any like stitching or lines or squiggles or anything like that. Now we're all done. So this is where I jump in and remind you that this video is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY Challenge open playlist. Hosts Missy from Crafty Cove DIY and Emily from Farm Charm Chic do this every month. Guest host this month is Charlotte from Crafting Up a Storm. Show them some love. Click on their links in my description box. Go to their channels and watch this month's videos. Project number 4. Okay, I'm making some orange homes. I have a tall one and a short one. First I try to take off the labels. Of course, one comes off quite easy. On the other one I have to fight with, so I just change what size I'm going to work on. I had a bit of a time separating the inside of the homes from the backing, and I actually used a utility knife to separate them and a palette knife to pry them apart. So once I did that, we're ready for painting. I used some, I think it's medium grit sandpaper just to prepare that shiny part that I'm going to use there so the paint will adhere nice. Paint, actually a few coats of paint with my Folk Art Adirondack. And the short house gets 2 coats. The tall house, because it was shiny, it took 3 coats. And I do it nice and slow. The first coat I do up and down. The second coat I do back and forth. Third coat I do up and down. And get a nice even finish. So I decided that the color of the wood was kind of fake looking. So again, I'm mixing some water in with the magicfly brown acrylic paint, and I'm just brushing it on sloppy and then using a damp baby wipe, and that will fill in any of the pieces that didn't get covered by the paintbrush, and it slides on nice and then wipes off so it's not so dark. And if you guys have seen my other video, at least one other video, this is exactly how I did the paint in that one. So I did the same style of painting on the short house, but I used green instead. Now I'm going to do some work on the tall house again. I have these letters picked out from a Dollar Tree packet. They say Orange Sweet Orange, which I thought was kind of clever. It's a house, but it says Orange Sweet Orange. So I'm actually working pretty hard here to make sure I have some nice straight lines, and that the straight lines after stay straight. So I have 3. I'm going to do it one on top of the other and center it. So I'm just kind of fussing around here with where exactly I want it. Because I know I want to do a bow at the top, and I know I want to tie twine at the bottom, so I decide to just try and keep it as close to the middle as possible. And this is a really cute little tool here, very functional. It's not like a Cricut tool because it's straight, but it has a really nice, fine, sharp tip. Couple times these stickers went flying, so be careful if you're using them. It was one of those I dropped my contact moments where I had to like not move, and I was actually able to find it 3 times. So lucky me. And there we have it. So I want to make sure they are not going anywhere. So for this particular project, I'm going to use Mod Podge. I do not use Mod Podge to cover things very often, but I want these stickers to stay put. So I work on those first, and when I'm sure that they're down okay, I'm just gonna put an even coat on the rest of the house and make sure everything looks the same and has the same finish. Okay, so I set that aside now, and we're gonna work on the short house now. And the short house isn't gonna have any words, it's just gonna look pretty. So I have this Dollar Tree scarf with the fruit slices. So what I'm gonna do is pick my favorite fruit slice and center it on the white portion of the house. And it takes no time for me to find my favorite part. So this fabric was not easy to work with. That's why I bunched it up like that, because it kept sticking in the scissors. I finally get a piece to work with some edges there that I can glue under, which is exactly what I'm going to do here. So I make sure that orange slice is right in the middle like I want it, and then I want to get this first bead of glue down right quick so the orange will stay centered, and then I can work at the rest with the regular speed. So use that Dollar Tree tool again to get it down, and I end up ironing the fabric because it had a crease in it. It was just driving me crazy. So I went ahead and glued the rest of it and then trimmed off the excess fabric in the back. And right away, I'm just going to put a backing on it. This is Dollar Tree gift wrap. Not shipping paper, but gift wrap. It's a wee bit more expensive for what you get, but I like that it's got a little bit of pattern on it. So I make a crease so I know where to cut, but I cut a little bit inside the crease because I actually want a little bit of the fabric to show. I think it's kind of pretty, and I like that look. So once we're done with that, I'm going to get it glued onto the frame. Just a nice even bead of glue all around the backing there. And then I just literally just set it on top. And right away, quick, pick it up and squeeze it around and make sure all the edges are even. And there we go. Going to attach the tile house to the backing using the same method. Putting down an even bead of glue all the way around the frame, and then setting it down, and then picking it up right quick. Make sure all the edges are even, squeezing it into position. And orange, sweet orange is almost done. So I'm going to use that same Dollar Tree gift wrapping paper that I used on the short house. And I just sort of cut in on an angle so you don't see the paper from the front. And I mentioned I wanted to use the twine, my beloved Dollar Tree twine that I found. So I'm going to wrap the bottom. And I'm not sure how many times I wrap it, but I just do it till it looks good to me. I glue it at the start and glue it at the finish. And then I'm going to make a finger bow for the top, which unfortunately a lot of that happened off camera. But basically for the finger bow, you just wrap it around your 4 fingers. I spread my fingers out as wide as I can. Wrap the jute twine around my fingers, and then grab the jute twine that's hanging out and pull it through my fingers to save the middle, and then pull it off and finish, which is what I'm doing right here, finishing the middle part. And I just tie a simple knot, and then I do a bead of glue on the top of the house and pop that little finger bow on. And the short house, I should say, the short house is done. And I think that rustic touch with the twine, along with the colors on the words there is just such a nice match together. It looks really cute. And I changed my mind about how to finish up the short house. You'll have to catch that at the final reveal. Project number 5, the long-awaited flip-flop garland. So pretty simple here. Paint, flip-flop, wood beads, magicfly paint, acrylic in lemon, spring green, and pink, and the 20mm large wood beads. And then I just chose something that I thought would look good with them. I forget how many millimeters. And I'm going to use the last little bit of that white acrylic paint by Decor. So I just tap some into the bottom of this little Dollar Tree plastic bowl and a little bit of water, and I'm gonna use this to whitewash the small beads. So I mix it up a wee bit. I'm just gonna plunk my little beads in there, and it's as simple as that. Get them all in there, shake it around, swish it, stir it, slosh it, and then instead of dumping it, just use your stick, or in this case it's a skewer stick. Just use your stick to sort of like push them out, and they'll dry a lot faster, and it's a lot neater. It's a lot cleaner. So I'm going to do the same for the larger beads, but in the colors that I chose. Again, pink, lemon, and spring green. And then I grabbed me some this yellow. I grabbed some of this yellow twine, and we're going to make a garland. You can use your hand or a piece of cardboard to do this. I chose a Dollar Tree wooden plank, and I'm just going to wrap the twine around the plank until I'm happy with the amount of twine, like, I don't know, the width of it, the length of it, till it's thick enough. I'm going to wrap it till it's thick enough, and then I'll just cut a length of cord there that I'll use to make the head. But for now, we're actually going to do the length of the garland and double it. So we're going to use a doubled piece of twine. We're going to pull the looped end through the tassel there. There's the loop. We're going to pull it through the tassel, and then we're going to pull the tails through the loop, and we have no knots. Just tighten it up there. No glue, no knots. Nice and clean. I'll go ahead and tie a knot for the head. Some people actually skip this step, but I just like how it looks. So I tie a simple knot, trim off one end, and let the other end fall down with the rest of the tassel. So if you're still watching while I'm threading these beads here, I just want to thank you for staying till the end. I'm going to go ahead and trace a circle on the flip-flop and cut it at an angle. So like the surface area of the back is a little bit less than what you see at the front. And we are almost done here. Just got to pull that twine through and tie a simple knot, and then pull what's left through the first few beads there. And then we have a simple, clean, glue-free garland to add to your fruity tiered tray. We just need to trim the ends here. Make sure they're all falling down so we don't get any short ones. So a quick little haircut, and this fruity tiered tray garland is done. A glue-free garland, and did this pretty little thing break the bank. The flip-flops were $1.25, and the rest of the supplies were just a handful of change. Stay tuned for the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.